Welcome to H Studios. We bring you live this update today of a lottery that you could be in for some big bucks. In particular, $1 million. Make sure in the edit you add some sort of a twinkle in my eye. Thank you very much. And be sure to cut this part out. But yes, we're live from H Studios, which may or may not look like a regular room, but we're here to bring you all the breaking news in the scam world, not interior design, so please get a grip of yourself. However, the aforementioned $1 million lottery is no scam, so if you're willing to send me over all of your personal details, I need them. Also, I need your money. Why? So that you can pay the taxes on my lottery winnings. Because that makes sense. What do you mean this is breaking the fourth wall? Yes, I know it's not in the script, but I gotta let the people know. No, stick to the script? Okay. Listen, everyone, please, you've got to get me out of here. Okay, we're wrapping this. Please be wary of all scams out there, everyone. I urge you. But this one is not a scam. That's what the script says. We are not scammers here. Except they are. Okay. Oh! Breaking news! Coming to you from Recording H. If you do want to participate in the lottery winnings, be sure to send over gold bars and Steam gift cards. Listen, I know your name is Doris, and that will make sense to all of you in a little bit, but I can't do this, okay? I'm a man of the people, okay? And as a man of the people, I also must stress to you that this is a 15-year-old video. The quality is gonna be a shambles. Yes, more so than Recording H's usual shambolic quality. And apparently the usual butchering of the English language. Usual. There's a fruit called yuzu. Did I mean to say that? And if you haven't realized, the skit has ended, by the way. So let's get into the video, shall we?
The 78-year-old Florida woman, Doris Seigel, that police say ripped off her friends. Police are now trying to piece together whether the lottery scam is connected to a similar online scam that Seigel herself fell victim to several years earlier.
Hold on a second. Granny's scam caught on tape. Bilk's friends for nearly $1 million? Bilk's? What does that mean? More importantly, I ask you to turn your attention to the screen right now and tell me that doesn't give you old school serial killer vibes. She's got Jeffrey Dahmer's glasses on, and yes, if you got glasses like that on right now, I'm judging you slightly, okay? But then go back to the image. It's just it's got sinister vibes about it. I don't know what it is, but it's giving grimacingness, okay? There's a word for you.
What did that just mean?
And potentially unrelated, but I feel like it fits here, and also Rambling Rat Boy has to get this off his chest right in this particular moment. There was a
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
There was a video that we looked at not too long ago. I think it was the woman with her disabled son who spunked away 500k, sold her home, because that's what you do when you care about your son, your home, etc. Someone in the comment section of that video, the original anyway, mentioned, the younger individuals of this generation being taught to hate their parents, being taught to hate their grandparents, and how this commenter didn't receive respect for the mere fact that they've been on this earth a specific amount of time. I feel like it's important to re-emphasize my message from that. It doesn't mean you gain respect or be treated a certain way just because you've been on this earth a specific amount of time, okay? Let's not get it misconstrued. You're a sack of shit. You will be treated like you are a sack of shit. Now this Ted Bundy frickin' serial killer looking ass will be held under, allegedly, at this moment in time. But I'm gonna stand firm. Respect goes both ways. I feel like it's important to say that here. But anyway.
Police are now trying to piece together whether the lottery scam is connected to a similar online scam that Seigel herself fell victim to several years earlier.
She just learned,
has more
allegedly, and did it to others.
She seemed like such a sweet old lady.
It's my asthma.
In this police surveillance video shot last week, 78-year-old Doris Seigel plays the part of a sickly granny. Police say it was all a con.
How much I got invested so far? It's probably around 21,000.
Hold on a second. 21,000, you can stick it where the sun don't shine. Because I feel like whatever noise was made in that background, I think is a bird of some kind. The bird is telling you, please, she's allegedly a criminal. Get her out of here. Not only is this video 15 years old, the quality is like I've just recorded with a bag of potatoes. The king variety, I think that's a potato?
Hey! Shut up!
Then the surveillance is also bad. So I ain't got a Scooby what's going on here. But I have to listen to the birds, you know.
In the surveillance video is Jimmy Ford, one of at least 15 victims. Doris Seigel is accused of bilking close to $1 million from friends and neighbors in this modest mobile home park north of Tampa. Pat McQueen is another victim.
How I became a victim of something I preached against, I have no idea, except she was good.
Police say they believe this all began when Doris Seigel herself was the victim of an overseas lottery scam. They say she then took what she learned and victimized her neighbors.
These notices of lotto winnings were taken during a search warrant at Doris Seigel's home.
It is a common scam. Tell people they've won millions, they just have to pay thousands up front to get it.
That's the reason I started the mission in Guatemala.
What?
She also had another scam that, which was a mission that supposedly she started and she was the president of, that was in Guatemala. And she actually had photos of starving children.
As for the frail old woman, she was anything but when police interrogated her.
You lied to these... Okay, so I lied. Why did you lie? I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you.
What a great response, Doris. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better confession.
Bravo.
You obviously did all this, allegedly, for money, right? You saw yourself get swindled by this, and you thought to yourself, I could do this.
Thank you.
What a surprising turn of events. I don't think I've ever seen a story where the scam victim becomes the scammer. Oh my god. Whoa.
I must have had a senior moment.
What does that mean?
That's all I can say. Because normally I would have never done anything like this.
Consumer fraud reporting, legitimate lotteries. If any form you fill out says legitimate lottery, it's not. I don't like her saying that I had a senior moment. Obviously, I don't think she meant it in a malicious way. But this notion that elderly people are a bloody bag of rocks when it comes to scams, it's just not true. But again, I don't think she meant it in a malicious way. But just, you know, in general life, it doesn't matter how old you are. You let your guard down, or you get to a state of severe loneliness, etc., etc., a whole host of factors. You let your guard down in a particular moment, you can get swindled.
It was my stupidity. I should have checked into it more.
Wow, thank you.
Our investigation right now is focused on trying to track where the money went, to see if any of it was diverted to other sources.
This whole broad got me really good, and, you know, I can't believe I did it.
Doris Seigel is in jail facing first-degree felony charges. Several of her victims are facing bankruptcy. For Good Morning America, Jeffrey Kaufman, ABC News, Brookville, Florida.
And joining us now to talk about the threat of online scams and how you can protect yourself is Jeffrey Robinson, an online security expert, joins us from our London bureau. And Jeffrey,
London?
to go from a victim to a scam artist, does that happen from time to time?
Unfortunately, it happens all the time.
What?
The Nigerians who start these email scams, once they get their teeth into you, they never let go. They've got scams, and then they've got follow-up scams that are designed to come behind the original scam.
Of course we know that. I mean, you get scammed XYZ and then they come back as a lawyer of some kind who says, I can get your money back. But did she say, does it usually happen a scam victim becomes a scammer? I'm gonna rewind.
Jeffrey, to go from a victim to a scam artist, does that happen from time to time?
Yeah, so she did ask that question. Why did he then start talking about different scams? I also don't like the fact that he specified Nigerians, because it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're a scammer, you're a scammer. So I feel like he could have generalized it a bit more, but we shall continue.
Once they get their teeth into you, they never let go. They've got scams, and then they've got follow-up scams that are designed to come behind the original scam.
Yes.
They also, by the way, once they have a victim and bilk them 2-3 times, they then sell the victim's email address and information to other scammers. Once you've been hit, you never get away.
I know. I guess not. They feel like they have you, and so they're going to keep trying to bilk you as much as they can. Do they target anyone in particular? Do they target people in particular?
They certainly target the elderly, senior citizens, they target students, but you know what? They're non-discriminatory. They target everybody.
Correct.
In fact, every man, woman, and youngster watching Good Morning America this morning will be targeted by professional fraudsters multiple times over the next 12 months, and 1 in 9 will lose money as a result of fraud.
Hold on a second there, because I don't think he's answered the question. She asked, is it common for a scam victim to become the scammer? I don't think he's answered the question.
And not multiple times over the month, multiple times a day, you'll get some emails from not just from Nigeria, but all these scams. So what are the ones that we should really be looking out for right now,
All of them?
Jeffrey? What's out there?
Well, lottery fraud is so big. I mean, you get an email saying that you've won a lottery. Trust me, if you didn't buy a ticket, you didn't win the lottery. It's that simple. Another one that I actually followed was a work-at-home fraud. This is the lottery. This is the email that arrives and says, we're an English fabrics company, and we are looking for someone in the States to represent our interests and collect money for us. And what will happen is our client, to pay us, will pay you with a cashier's check. You deposit it into your bank account, wait till the money clears, and then wire the money out. Now, on the surface, it sounds about right. But if you look very carefully at it, what you find is, do a Google. The address in England doesn't exist. The name of the managing director is a name that's been used in other frauds. He's got a Gmail or a Hotmail address, not a company address. He's using a cell phone, not a switchboard. And the checks are, of course, counterfeit. So once you deposit it into your account, 3 days later, you see that the check has cleared, or at least you think it's cleared. And in fact, it hasn't. The bank has simply advanced you the money 4 days or 5 days after you've wired out 90%. Because your share is supposed to be 10%, the bank informs you that the check is bounced and you owe them the $3,000 or $4,000.
I mean, all the work, they're so sophisticated. And I got to tell you, Jeffrey, there was it was last year. I got in the car and it was early. I was kind of tired. There was an email that came to me from a friend, and saying that she was overseas, she lost her wallet, and there was just enough information to sound right. And to say that could you help her out, that could you send something? And I was tired. I was like, this doesn't quite sound right, but there's enough information here. No. And I did a Google search and found the exact same letter that was online like that. So what?
I mean, I don't know if that story is true or not. Take it with a pinch of salt, because I'm pretty sure a friend, if they are in trouble in such a way, is not going to be emailing you. But, okay.
You do I know you say if it sounds too good to be true, it probably isn't.
Correct.
But there's some really sophisticated people out there trying to get some money out of us.
There are very sophisticated people. That particular scam works off a virus that goes into your email account and spreads emails from your address book to all your friends. What you do is read the letter very carefully. If somebody wants to use your bank account, they're a crook. Flat and simple, categorical. They're a crook. There is no reason for anybody or any company to need your bank account at all. Never disclose your password, never disclose your identity. Keep your bank account private. Also, read the emails. If it's addressed, Dear Trusted Friend, that's not you.
Why
that's
not?
sent to thousands of people.
Whoa! Playing devil's advocate. This man has just said if you ever receive any sort of a message saying that you're a trusted friend, you're not. That's not you, that's everyone else. You're not to be trusted. What do you mean? Man who slightly resembles Boris Johnson. How dare you call me untrustworthy?
Look at the English involved. A lot of these emails, the English is very stilted, and yet they claim to be British or American. No. If you get an email from somebody offering to share money with you and you don't know them, it's a scam.
Yeah.
Throw it away. Strangers don't share money with other strangers.
They don't. But bottom line, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yes, and also that scam could be from someone British or American. Just once again need to clarify this.
Thank you. We'll have to have you back from time to time.
Anytime.
Thanks for being so straightforward. And you learn how to protect yourself from scams like this. Go to our website at abcnews.com.
Oh? Well, we learned about diddly squat of Doris's tomfoolery. Huh? I'm gonna go try and, I guess, find something. And we'll also look at comments from the original video. But this being 15 years old, genuinely, I don't anticipate there being anything of note in the comment section. But let's go. You know, this Doris character is very hard to find information on because I kept typing her name, nothing was coming up other than other people named Doris Seigel. And then obviously I had the bright idea to write lottery scam alongside her name, so kudos, I know how to search for things. I will now read a ton of information, and at each point I'll stop maybe to give my thoughts on what I've just read. So the next part of this video is going to be a lot of me talking and rambling. So if you're not a fan of that, then probably best to click off now. So the first part of the story is as follows, and the video did a very bad job of actually telling the story. But Doris Seigel and a friend boarded a plane to Amsterdam in August 2008 for $1 million payout. Money that would prove, finally, that the Nigerian lottery she'd told friends and neighbors about was no scam. Now, the way that's phrased is that there is a Nigerian lottery and the winnings are being paid out in the Netherlands, to which Doris and a friend flew to the Netherlands, Amsterdam in particular, the red light district.
Oh, there it is.
The many of the grass. Oh, they were having a great time, weren't they? And the grass in particular, you could argue, was heavily used, because none of what we're talking about here really makes sense so far. Seigel and a friend met with 5 men who called themselves Nigerian businessmen, authorities said. They were taken to the basement of a building and told they would need another $10,000 to see the big money. You know what's really scary here is that willy-nilly, so far, no questions asked at any point, Seigel and her friend are just venturing into random basements in countries that they are just no knowledge of, right? I'm assuming. They don't know anyone there. They've just come on a whim. We'll go in the shitting basement. God knows what's going to happen. I can't stress to everyone enough how dangerous all of this is outside of a scam. When Seigel's friend gave them the cash, they were taken to another room and shown a stack of $100 bills. The men gave them one of those bills with promises of more to come. The women returned home empty-handed. In the months that followed, Seigel's luck turned from bad to worse, culminating in her arrest last week on organized fraud charges. Brooksville police have accused the 78-year-old retiree of duping friends, neighbors, and even her pastor out of more than $1 million. Now, I think there is obviously a very fine line between victim and perpetrator, right? There comes a point in a story where a money mule perhaps becomes further a scammer. And once again, the English words are very much great. But I think she's well and truly crossed the line, because there is no way in hell that she conjured up the honest truth as to why she was taking their money. As investigators unravel this complicated web, they are left wondering this. Is Seigel a victim so taken in by a ubiquitous internet lottery scam that she stole from friends to feed her unrealized dreams of instant wealth? Or is she a copycat scam artist who used the painful lessons she learned from the so-called Nigerian businessmen to rip off those closest to her, even inventing a fake Dutch lottery and a Guatemalan mission to siphon money from friends? Now I understand why they were referring to the scammers as Nigerian in the video we watched, because the scammers themselves were literally calling themselves Nigerian businessmen. But I'm still confused here. Why is a Nigerian lottery being paid out the winnings in Holland? It just, none of this makes sense so far. But to answer the question that the investigators had 15 years ago, yes, the second one. She's lying and doing naughty things.
Allegedly.
To siphon money. Why is that such a hard word? Siphon. Siphon. She turned from a victim to a perpetrator when she started lying to other folks, Brooksville Police Chief George Turner said. She knew in no uncertain terms that it was a scam, and then she went on to other folks and got them to money up with the promise of doubling their contributions. Now, thankfully, this chief sees it the way I do. You could argue, maybe I should become a police chief. But, you know, this reminds me of 2.5 Men. If anyone's ever watched the episode of Alan, where he would take people's money, funnel it. I can't remember the exact thing that he was doing. I think he was running some sort of scam, and he was saying that the chiropractor business he was doing was raking in the money, when in actuality, I think he was offering sexual services out of the office, and he was taking people's money, obviously doubling it through the sexual services. You know, I don't think he was doing the sexual services, but I think on one occasion he did. But it reminds me of that.
Kind of.
Seigel remains at the Hernando County Jail with bail set at $50,000, but when police took her into custody last week, Turner said Seigel pleaded with them to place her on house arrest so she could be home to answer a call she just knew was coming from one of her Nigerian business partners. I mean, the audacity, I get it. You are pleading innocence of some kind here, and you're trying to get out by any means. Look, we'll settle on this, right? Please do this for me. But the audacity to bring up the Nigerian business partners that got you, I guess, into this mess. On Monday, detectives continued to interview possible victims and comb through Seigel's records and computer to get a sense of how much money she collected and where it might have gone. Police also have supponed her bank records. But Turner said it's doubtful any of the victims would recover their money. Across the street from Seigel's tidy mobile home in the hometown Cloverleaf Forest RV park live Don and Eileen Gabrielle, neighbors and friends for the past few years. Police have told them that they may have been victims of the scam. This was not much of a surprise to the Gabrielles. They said Seigel's stories never really added up. She said Scotland Yard was involved in the search for a payout. She repeatedly gave them the names of fictitious banks and she was always asking for money. The couple estimate that they have given more than $10,000 to Seigel since September 2007. Now, the Gabrielles are a good example of Helen University, in which they suspect something is afoot, something is amiss. But guess what? Take my money anyway. No, people, please stop doing that. We were really stupid, Don Gabrielle said. We don't know if she's scamming us or grasping for straws. The Gabrielles finally confronted Seigel in December when they noticed all the paperwork she had been showing them appeared to come from the same email account. There was no letterhead, the formats of the emails were the same, and there were a number of misspelled words. That's how they spell things in England, Eileen Gabrielle said Seigel told her them.
Stop it. Get some help.
It's always interesting to me that victims of any scam realize the mistakes after sending money. It behooves me when they can't seem to realize beforehand. You're receiving these documents, etc. Just pay close attention to them, because if you were thinking things clearly and without the greed aspect, because you could argue there's a level of greed here in that you are going to get back your money in double, right? But if you look at things without the greed, without emotions, you probably would have noticed all these red flags in the beginning. And also, it also behooves me, apparently I love that word now, that they are spunking 10K. I'm sorry, but if someone comes to me with some sort of get-rich-quick scheme, we're going to double your money, all sorts of nonsense, why don't we start at $1? I'll give you $1. If you can give me back multiple dollars back, then I will consider giving you $2. Not 10K right off the bat. Other victims included friends and neighbors, a local businessman, and her pastor at the Brooksville Seventh-day Adventist Church. Two of the alleged victims, including the woman who traveled to Amsterdam with her, are thought to have given Seigel at least $330,000 each. What was I saying earlier? Before you go spunking 10K, how about start with $1? Before you go spunking $330,000, maybe start with like a 50 cents or something. These people are too trusting, okay? Not only are they too trusting, they've got too much money to be throwing around. And I know some people get all up in arms about me saying these people have too much money, because at the end of the day, it is their money. I completely understand that. And who am I? I sound salty AF, right? But the hardships that people are going through in this world, and they're forking up entire life savings for potential life-saving surgery, as one member of the TT commented in a previous video. Shout out to you, much love. Where are we drawing the line here? Victims have to have some semblance of accountability, but I'm glad the Gabrielles, for example, did admit they were stupid. But this is just too much trust in someone to give them 330K, let alone one of the persons doing this went to Amsterdam with Seigel and realized they were scammed. So, like, you learnt nothing, basically. Records show Seigel has had a Hernando County address since the mid-1980s, but didn't move into the RV park until 2001. She doesn't appear to have any close family members. She shared her mobile home with a friend until her death in 2001. Seigel was president of a local travel agency, Around the Earth Travel Incorporated, until July. Neighbors said she told them that she lived off her social security check and meager savings. We just felt really bad for her, Don Gabrielle said, but who knows what to believe. I believe that no matter the hardship that a fellow neighbor might be going through, as harsh as this might seem, it is not your issue that they are struggling, and to the point where you give them $10,000. These people, whatever way you want to put it, what? Oh my god! Wow! Whatever way you want to look at this, maybe you want to look at it as they are just better people than me in terms of helping people. But again, they're going to do what they're going to do with their money. But I just don't think this is the way to correctly help someone. Because as they said, who knows what to believe? Don't harm yourself in the process of helping someone. In 2004, Seigel was apparently duped by the Nigerian lottery scam. She went to the police, who told her that she had likely been victimized based on the correspondence she had received. Seigel then used that information and deception, police said, to fraudulently obtain money from other people. Inside her home, police said they found reams of paperwork detailing how to operate a lottery scam. And according to police, Seigel approached several victims from January 2008 through this month and asked for money, claiming she had won a lottery in Holland. Seigel was captured on surveillance tape lying to several of the victims, police added, adding that she later admitted she lied to the victims to obtain their money. Lottery scams take several forms, usually asking victims to put up their money in return for a piece of the lottery winnings. Seigel also got contributions by claiming to have started a Guatemalan mission that does not exist, according to police. There's lots of folks to this day who don't know their victims, Turner said. If it sounds like free money, then it's probably a scam. Police are asking anyone who had dealings with Seigel or believes they were victimized to contact the department's Criminal Investigation Division. Now, with all that coming from one particular article, I found another article with a little bit more information that I feel like is important to share. One of Seigel's alleged victims, James Ford, spoke to ABC News and said Seigel talked him into giving her $22,000 and that she pawned jewelry that had great sentimental value to help Seigel. The money, he said she told him, was needed to pay the taxes on her lottery winnings, and when she had collected her money, she would pay him back twice what he gave her, Ford 50 told ABC News. She seemed like the most sincere, sweetest woman you'd ever want to meet in your life. She knows exactly what she was doing. As I mentioned a little bit ago, what concern is it of you, James Ford, in this instance, to help someone who's won the lottery to pay the taxes for their winnings? I'm really confused here. This is like a neighborhood who are like, you know, conjoined at the hip or something. Because these neighbors all sound like they got too much money and just trust everyone. I think it's well and truly evident that we've gone way past the typical neighbor knocking on your door for sugar when they're forking out upwards of $330,000. There was even a couple who gave $78,000 who lived in a trailer park and are going to be foreclosed on now. They have nothing. That was their life savings and it's now gone. Once again, we see it in romance scams as well, where victims send large sums of money to someone they haven't even met for the sake of keeping them warm, as I like to say. You don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. If you're not in a position to help someone, you don't need to help them. And I know some people feel ultra guilty for saying no to someone. But that's okay sometimes. Oh, and if you're wondering where the section is, the tantalizing talk section, where we normally look at comments from the original video, turn your attention to the screen, please. Here is the 15-year-old, one comment. Okay, the American way. I don't even know what that means. Is this person insinuating that the way to get rich is to steal and, you know, America. America. I guess that's what they mean. Overall, what a strange story. I know particularly it's not new, right? However, I came across the video just randomly on YouTube, and I thought this sounds interesting to share. And my, did we go down a rabbit hole? Alice? Where are you? Does that joke make sense, or is that Wonderland? I think it's the same thing. Mad Hatter, like, I guess. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I think there was so much wrong with this story. Like, at every single point, every victim, Doris included, considering she was a victim in the beginning, at every single point, you could argue everyone was doing foolishness. Because at no point did I sit back and think, yeah, that makes sense why you gave that much money. So do let me know. If you do want to watch something else scam related, I'll chuck it up there. Something else unrelated to scams, I'll chuck it down there. See you next time. Bye. What a video, huh?